Here's a complete 1,600-word article for your YouTube video, written as engaging, compelling content that can be used in your video description, blog, or channel, about, page. It's based on the video title you provided. I acted like a poor and naive single mother when I met my fiancé. It turned out that, this is the real title of the video you shared. I still remember that day vividly, the nervous flutter in my chest, the way my palms got slightly clammy the moment my taxi slowed down outside the towering gates of his family's estate. Up until then, I had rehearsed every possible scenario. I'd practiced greetings in front of the mirror, rehearsed polite laughter, and even memorized impeccable answers to every question I imagined they'd ask. But nothing could prepare me for the mixture of excitement and terror that came with finally meeting his family. You see, I wasn't just meeting them as myself, I was presenting a version of myself that I carefully crafted, a poor and naive single mother who had struggled her way through life with nothing but grit and determination. Little did I know that this choice would unfold into a story far more powerful than I ever imagined. When I first met my fiancé, I was overwhelmed by his kindness, intelligence, and the depth of his empathy. From the moment our eyes locked, I knew that this was someone extraordinary. Yet as our relationship progressed, one fear simmered beneath the surface: would his family accept me for who I truly was? I wasn't born into privilege, I didn't have glittering accomplishments plastered on a wall, and I carried the real burdens of life, including raising a child on my own. That fear lingered every time he spoke about introducing me to his parents. Some people might say that confidence is key when facing a pivotal moment like meeting your partner's family. But confidence can be fragile, especially when your insecurities are tied to the deepest parts of your identity. I didn't want to just meet his family, I wanted them to like me. I wanted them to respect me. And that desire drove me to make an unusual choice. I decided to lean into people's assumptions about me and present myself in a way that would evoke sympathy rather than skepticism. I wanted to soften any judgment by appearing humble, simple, and yes, naive. The truth was, I wasn't trying to deceive them maliciously. I believed that by revealing my vulnerability, I could guide the narrative of our first impression. I practiced a gentle smile that conveyed innocence. I made a deliberate choice to wear modest, worn-looking clothes that hid the fact that I could have dressed much more elegantly. I even rehearsed small remarks about how I juggled work and motherhood, emphasizing my lack of sophistication in situations that, in truth, I handled with more expertise than I let on. As I stepped from the taxi and walked up the long path toward the front door, I reminded myself to breathe, one slow breath at a time. The grand columns of the mansion loomed above me, and the manicured lawn seemed to stretch endlessly. I knew I was on the brink of a moment that could change everything. When the door opened, his mother stood there with a reserved smile, poised, elegant, and perfectly composed. Her gaze was sharp yet polite. I offered my own timid smile and a gentle greeting, trying to balance warmth with humility. His father was equally composed, with a firm handshake and quiet eyes that seemed to measure every detail. I watched closely as they observed me. I could feel the questions in their eyes, the silent attempts to understand who I was and how I fit into their world. I smiled and shared details about my life, some exaggerated for dramatic effect, others completely true but presented in a way that invited sympathy rather than admiration. I told them about the challenges of raising my child, how I worked tirelessly to make ends meet, how I never took a single kind gesture for granted. I played the part of the humble single mother to perfection, and for a while, it seemed to work. There were moments when his mother would glance sideways at me as if testing my sincerity. She asked about my upbringing and what led me to where I was today. I spoke softly, painting pictures of perseverance and honesty. I described my life's simplicity with pride, though inside I was quietly bracing myself for judgment. Dinner was served in a sunlit room overlooking rose gardens. The table was set with delicate china, sparkling crystal glasses, and silverware that gleamed like polished stars. At one point, his father asked me what I thought of the setting. I remember catching my breath, carefully choosing words that emphasized awe over entitlement. I didn't want to give even the slightest hint that I felt out of place. I wanted them to see someone appreciative, humble, and eager to belong. Throughout the meal, there were polite exchanges and gentle laughter, but I could also feel the undercurrent of assessment. Every small detail of my behavior seemed to matter: the way I held my fork, the topics I chose to discuss, even the way I handled stories about my child. I could sense that this family was digging beneath the surface, trying to reconcile the woman they saw before them with the woman their fiancé loved. Then came the moment that changed everything. His younger sister, curious, perceptive, and unafraid, asked me directly about my ambitions. She wanted to know what dreams I still held close to my heart. I hesitated for the briefest moment, then spoke honestly about my desire to give my child a stable life filled with opportunity. I told her about my dream to own a small business one day, something that would allow me to use my strengths and passion to build something meaningful. Her eyes sparkled with genuine interest. She leaned in, her tone shifting from formality to warm curiosity. It was the first time in the evening that someone in his family looked at me as a person, not an outsider. After dinner, we gathered in the living room for tea and dessert. His father asked about my child's favorite hobbies and quirks, and I spoke openly, laughing as I described the adorable mischief and zest for life that made my heart swell. His mother smiled, not just politely this time, but genuinely. The room's atmosphere warmed, the tension of judgment melting into something lighter, more human. By the end of the evening, the initial formality had dissolved into laughter and shared stories. They asked me questions not to test me, but because they were genuinely interested in who I was beyond the careful facade I had constructed. It was in those moments, when we connected over simple, heartfelt conversations, that I realized something profound. Authentic connection isn't born from how perfectly you present yourself, but from how openly you share your life, your struggles, and your dreams. As we prepared to leave that night, his mother took my hand gently. She looked me in the eyes and said something I'll never forget: "You're stronger than you let on. Don't ever think that humility means you should hide your worth." Those words struck me deeply. They affirmed that true acceptance comes not from hiding who you are, but embracing it fully: strengths, vulnerabilities, past, present, and future. Walking back to the taxi, I felt a surge of emotion, a bittersweet blend of relief, joy, and gratitude. I had entered that house wearing a mask of naivety, hoping it would soften the reality of my life. What I walked away with was something far greater: a sense of belonging, respect, and genuine acceptance from people who once seemed intimidating and distant. Today, when I look back on that pivotal evening, I realize that the risk I took, revealing my life with humility yet authenticity, didn't weaken me. Instead, it revealed a profound truth: we are most powerful when we are unapologetically real. My story isn't just about a woman acting poor and naive, it's about the courage to embrace every part of one's journey, to step boldly into unknown territory, and to meet acceptance with an open heart. If there's one thing I want viewers to take away from this, it's this: your story, in all its complexity, has value. Don't shrink it to fit what you think others want to see. Share it boldly, own every part of it. Because the right people, the ones who truly matter, will see your heart before they see your circumstances. If you want, I can also tailor this article for SEO with keyword optimization specific to YouTube search trends, e.g., viral storytime, fiancé family drama, etc., and include timestamps, hashtags, and a section for engagement prompts you can paste directly on your video page.